Welcome to yet another installment of Rex Riches, this time around featuring the Necromancer. Personally, I like playing as a Poison Necromancer, which utilizes the skill Poison Nova, so this guide will be on a Poison Necromancer. So, why should you want to play a Necromancer? Well, first of all, you will have a lot of innate safety from your summons, most importantly raised skeletons as well as the clay golem. Second of all, you have the skill Corpse Explosion, which deals 70 to 120% of the corpse's life and damage. This damage is 50% fire and 50% physical. Third of all, you are great in group play as you have curses that enhance different parts of your party. Most importantly, you will have the skill Low Resistance for yourself, which reduces the enemy's resistance. The other skill that is also important, not just for your group, but also for yourself, is Decrepify, which reduces the enemy's movement speed, attack speed, and their defenses. Another pro is that you have the skill Corpse Explode. Another benefit is that it's a really cheap build to make. I personally was surprised just how little it takes to actually clear Player's Aid efficiently. Then the next pro, of course, is that you have the skill Corpse Explode. The 8th point that I have in terms of pros is that your designated farming area will be the pits. And the pits is a TC87 area, which means that the bosses in there have a chance to drop every item in the game. And that makes for some great item drops. And of course, lastly, you have the skill Corpse Explode. Okay, so how do you want to skill the Poison Necromancer? You will want to put 1 point into every curse, which is not Dim Vision, Confuse, and Attract. So that means 1 point into Amplify Damage, 1 point into Weaken, 1 point into Iron Maiden, 1 point into Terror, 1 point into Life Tap, 1 point into Decrepify, and 1 point into Lower Resist. Lower Resist is a 1-point wonder, so putting more points into it is really unnecessary as you already break all the enemy's poison resistance. For your Poison and Bone tree, you will want to put 1 point into Teeth, 20 points into Poison Dagger, as that is a synergy to Poison Nova, which will be your main spell. You will want to put at least 1 point into Corpse Explosion, 20 points into Poison Explosion, as that is also a synergy to Poison Nova, which you will want to max next. At this point, you have only used 60, 62, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 69
Nice.
points. So the other points that will be open can either be put into Race Skeleton and Skeleton Mastery, or you can put 1 point into Clay Golem and 1 point into Golem Mastery. You do not want to max out Clay Golem or Golem Mastery because they are not very beneficial. The Clay Golem simply acts as a meat shield in front of you. The skeletons that you can raise make for a much better meat shield as you can have more than one. Another way of skilling this is you can put more points into Corpse Explosion and fewer points into Raised Skeletons. It's a bit up to you if you want to have a higher meat shield, which would utilize Raised Skeletons, or you want to deal a bit larger area of AoE with your Corpse Explosion, which of course would mean you put more points into that skill. For your stat points, you will want to put enough points into Strength to wear your gear, put enough points into Dexterity to wear your gear, nothing into Energy, and everything else goes into Vitality. Utilizing Max Block is absolutely unnecessary as a Necromancer, as you will have a large amount of defenses coming from your Army of the Undead. As with every other character, the first thing you will want to do is get yourself some gold. To do that, you will want to open up a Nightmare game, and you will want to go to the Frigid Highlands in Act 5, which is the second waypoint. You will want to walk up to the north, use your Lower Resist on the enemies, and use Poison Nova. Now I have a mercenary here, but you will not need him. You can just use low resist and then run away. You will want to pick up everything that they drop, along with the gold and the rubies and whatever else they drop, and you will then head back to town. Do this until you have round about 100,000 gold, and then start shopping. You will start to shop at Anya. For that, you will want to open up a nightmare game, and you will want to talk to her. If you have not yet completed the quest Prison of Ice, and only the step Talk to Anya is left, she will always give you a shield if you're a Necromancer. So talk to her, and she will give you a shield. Now this one gives +3 to raise Skeletal Mage, +1 to attract, and some resistances. That is nice to have. If you already have the quest completed and didn't get anything, don't you worry, we will go through that as well. So what do you shop for at Anya? You will want to shop for gloves as well as boots. So just check what she has. In this case, she has nothing. You are looking for resistances on the gloves and faster run walk on the boots. If you find something that has faster run walk as well as resistances, that is super good, but it is not required. If she doesn't have anything, you hop into Nilathak's temple, go back out and start talking to her again. Check, for instance, these ones. This pair of gloves has 26 to lightning resistance. Those would be some that you can buy. For the boots, you definitely want to have at least 30% faster run walk, as you do not have a source of teleport yet. You do this until you find something like 14 to fire resistance and 7 to dexterity. These I've bought earlier already. And for your boots, again, something with faster run walk and resistance. These ones are 30% faster run walk and 33 lightning resistance. They are super good, so I will keep them. What you want to do next is you want to head over to Larzuk and look for a belt. The belt can have either a high amount of resistances. I would not go for a high amount of strength. Or you will want to look for something with a large amount of life. Every item in the game, that is magic at least, has a chance of having a pre and a suffix. A prefix can be something like garnet, as in this garnet plated belt, and the suffix would be of the whale, which is a modifier that gives 81 through +100 to life. And the garnet prefix gives, I think, 21 through 30 fire resistance. If you only find a suffix of the whale, that is good enough. So look for a belt with 81 through 100 to life. Make sure that it's a plated belt and not a war belt, as war belts have a strength requirement of 110, and that defeats the whole purpose of having the 100 to life. You would be much better served in just putting the points into vitality. You will want to look for a plated belt because it has the stat belt size +12 slots, which of course allows you to fill up your belt with 12 additional potions. Up next, you will want to open up a normal game, and you're going to want to talk to Charcy. We are looking for a 2-socketed helm, as well as a 2-socketed armor, and like this one, it needs to have 2 open sockets and the name needs to be in gray. Pay attention to hard leather armor, the name is in gray, whereas for the glimmering quilted armor, that name is in blue. If you purchase an armor that has a name in blue, it will be not usable to create a rune word inside of it. What you want to do is you want to buy this armor and put in the rune word stealth. Stealth, of course, requires the runes Tel-F, and we want it because it gives you 25% faster run walk, 25% faster cast rate, 25% faster hit recovery, and some mana regeneration, of course. The runes you can find when running normal Countess. For the helm, you will want to create the rune word lore inside. It does not matter if it's a full helm or just a regular cap. All that matters is that it has two open sockets, as well as the name is in gray. Why is lore so good? It gives you +1 to all skills and some lightning resistance. The runes that are required, of course, are Ord and Soul, which can be found when running Nightmare Countess. Up next, you will want to talk to Farah. This is still a normal, and you are looking for a 3-socketed shield. This shield, of course, needs to have his name in gray again. If she doesn't have anything, just go to the waypoint, go outside of Loot Go Lane, and then come back. This will reset the store, of course. So talk to her again, check if she has a shield now. This one only has 2 sockets. You are looking for a 3-socketed shield. It doesn't have to be a kite shield, it can be any. Inside of that kite shield, you want to put the runes Ral or Tal. This of course creates the rune word Ancient Pledge, which provides a nice amount of resistances. You can get those runes either from doing the Countess in normal, well, the Ord rune would have to come from the Countess in Nightmare, or you simply finish the quest Rescue on Mount Ariat, which is the second quest in Act 5, which rewards you with all of those runes. Up next, you will want to talk to Drognen. I would advise you to only do this in a game where this exit is next to Drognen. This exit can spawn either next to him or it can spawn next to Grease, somewhere up here, and if it's up there, it's just a pain to reset the store with Drognen. So if the arch is not next to Drognen, I would advise you to create a new game and start check if it's there this time around. Now it's also important that you do this in normal, because if you do this in Nightmare, he will sell you different items. We are looking for a weapon that has its name in gray and is either a bone wand or a regular wand. We are looking for something with 2 open sockets or 0 open sockets and an amount X with +2 skeleton mastery or +2 what's the skill? Summon skeletons? Raise skeletons. You could technically also go for something with +2 clay golem or +2 golem mastery, but I would advise you to look for something with +2 skeleton mastery, ideally with skeleton mastery as well as a raise skeleton. That would be ideal. If he doesn't sell anything of that, you want to head out and head back in and check if he has anything now. This one, for instance, has +1 to clay golem. This one has 2 open sockets, but no skills that we want. This one is in blue. Make sure you do not buy a magic wand, and make sure you do not buy U wands. U wands can have 1 socket maximum, and we are looking for one that has +2 to that have a possibility to have 2 open sockets, as we will create the rune word white in it. Let's check one more time. +2 to corpse explosion. Technically you could go for something that has +2 or +3 to corpse explosion if that's the route you will want to go down. Oh well, you get the idea. Just look for a bone wand that has 2 open sockets or 0 open sockets if you want to use a socket quest on it, and then it should also have plus skeleton mastery and or +2 raise skeleton. Now the rune word white, of course, is Dol.io, and it gives you +3 to poison and bone skills, +20% faster cast rate, 2 to bone spear, +4 to skeleton mastery, and +3 to bone armor. This wand that I used had +3 to skeleton mastery as a base, and 2 open sockets. So that gives me a total of +7 to Skeleton Mastery. For your amulet, your rings, and anything in your inventory, we have nothing so far. So we will go and look for those items along the way. The last thing you will want to do is head over to Act 3. And talk to Ormus. Ormus will sometimes sell you a staff of teleportation. We are looking for such a staff, and we are looking for more specifically one with teleport charges. If we take this one for instance, first of all, it is not of teleportation, but instead is just a snake snarled staff. I think snake is the +2 mana stat on it. And it has +2 to teleport, but it's for sorceress only. We are not playing as a sorceress, we are playing as a necromancer. So what we are looking for is a staff that has teleport charges. It does not matter which or what amount of charges. I will show you an example of it somewhere here. This one, for instance. This one I bought earlier. It gives level 2 teleport, 29 out of 10. Alright, with all of this shopping done, what do you want to farm? Opening up a game in hell and then starting the secret cow level is always a great way of beginning a character. With the Necromancer, it is doubly important or doubly efficient to do the cows, as your corpse explosion skill deals damage based on the corpse's life. So the more life the enemy has, the more damage this will deal. And since all the cows have roundabout the same health, you can almost one-shot entire screens even without any equipment at all. For the start, I would definitely advise you to put a few more points into Corpse Explosion as it increases the radius. The thing you will want to do first is buy a lot of mana potions. You will run through mana potions so insanely quickly that you will want to have lots of them in your inventory. Now, if you don't know how to fill up your belt really quickly, you just hold down the shift key, right click on the potion you will want to buy, and it will fill up your entire belt. So how do runs look like with this champion or character? Well, this is fast running cows, and you will want to just use lower resist. Always use your clay golem as he slows enemies down. Lower resist into poison nova. Lower resist into poison nova. And you can see we run out of mana super quickly. Use your clay golem, lower resist, poison nova. Lower resist, poison nova. Make sure they're all cursed, because it just increases your damage. And as soon as one of them falls, and you have the mana for it, just start using Corpse Explode. I'm not doing it here because I'm a bit sloppy, but this is what you want to do. As you can see, we run out of mana super quickly. And here we have a few dead ones. So what do you do next? You just use Corpse Explode. And they just drop like flies. Or not. Use another clay golem to clump them all up. And then Corpse Explode. If you get hit once, it's super hard because your faster hit recovery frames will always be really bad. And there you can see clearing out screens of cows is already possible, even though we only have the gear to shop with. Now, I will of course not bore you with all the details. You get the idea. You just use lower resistance, then use poison nova once, and once you have a dead cow, you will want to start using Corpse Explode. Alright, so let's jump into the finds. So I just started this challenge. I still don't have rings or an amulet, and I find tall rushes. And here the luck just keeps on coming as I find this 45 all-res Kurast shield with 0 sockets. Now, why is this thing awesome? It has the highest amount of all resistances. It is an elite paladin base, which of course gives the highest chance to block out of all the paladin shields. I don't know if this base in particular has the highest percent block rate. Either way though, this is a great find. And it also happened on the very first day. Here I drop a magic jewel, as I'm still on the first day of this challenge. And it's a 12 to maximum damage, all resistances plus 14. This is for level 26, and this is a super good jewel to have for low level duels. Personally, I am not interested in low level duels, but I had this price checked and it clocks in around an ohm rune to a low rune. So at this point, I can already afford roundabout 2 ists from the Tal armor, then 4 ists for the Kurast shield, and this is another 10 ist runes roundabout, is what I was told. So I decide to wear the Tal armor, and somebody offers me a Cham rune, as well as 2 ist runes for the Kurast shield, which I gladly accept, of course. Now, as with every one of the other videos, I feel that trading is an integral part to the game, and I would always want to do it. That's why we play multiplayer. And somebody offers me a Shaco as well as Trang Ul's 3 pieces, the armor, the gloves, as well as the shield for an Istrun. Might be slight overpay, I guess it very much is, but I really don't care as I was super lucky with the finds. And using the 3-piece of Trang Ul provides me with a negative 25% to enemy poison resistance. This, of course, coupled with the +2 to poison and bone skills from the shield, make it so that we deal a lot more damage. Remember, negative 25% to enemy poison resistance is worth much more than plus 25% poison damage. Just to give you a mathematical idea, I think cows in hell have 50% poison resistance, so if we were to deal 1000 damage to them, that damage is reduced by 50%, so we only deal 500 damage. If we had plus 25% poison damage, we would deal 1250 damage, and they still have 50% poison resistance, so we will deal 625 damage with our Poison Nova. On the other hand, if we only have 1000 damage and we reduce their poison resistance by 25%, it means instead of them having 50%, they now have 25% poison resistance. That means from the 1000 damage, 750 damage are left. So that just means the negative 25% to enemy poison resistance in this instance is equivalent to plus 50% more damage. Shortly after, we trade our Ist rune for a Mal rune plus a 1911 Necro Torch. Usually I like to have high all resistances, but with this character in particular I don't care at all, since we will have, or we have, that huge meat shield in the form of undeads in front of us, so having more resistances really doesn't do a lot. On the other hand, having all attributes, I think, just means we have more life, so more life is always nice. I could have, of course, always gone for a much cheaper Necrotorch, but I figured, since I was lucky with the finds, go ahead and get the more expensive items. So, my main goal, of course, is to farm the pits. And I find a player who gives me lots of items for an Ist rune and a Mal rune. The items include Skulder's Ire, which of course gives MF based on my level, and 1 to all skills, Trang Ul's Belt, a Nagel Ring, a Geet's Fortune with 27% MF, and War Travelers for an Ist and a Malrune. Again, slight overpay, but I don't care because at this point the character is already so far ahead of schedule that I don't care. This is only on day 2. Here we get another Nagel ring as well as 3 Ist runes for the Cham rune that we got earlier. If you are not as lucky with the finds, you would of course run the cows a bit more often. I, on the other hand, am already very lucky with the finds and I have a lot of MF, so I figure I will do the pits already. And it's rewarded by finding this Reaper's Toll. Unfortunately, it's not ethereal, and it's not very good for this character at all, since it has the 33% chance to cast Decrepify on striking. This is a great mercenary weapon to have as a physical damage dealer, as the Decrepify breaks physical immunities as well as just reduces their defenses. But since we're a Necromancer, we can just cast Decrepify. The Decrepify, of course, from the Reaper's Toll would override our lower resistance, so we don't want it. Still, with the life stolen per hit and the fact that we do not have any items for our mercenary, this is a cool find to include. And here we finally trade away the Tal's armor for an Ist and Rune, because we already have the Scolders, so we don't care for the Tal's armor anymore. So, in order to deal more damage and to get rid of the runes, we trade an rune for this Poison and Bone Skiller. And here I gamble a bit to get myself an amulet that has +3 to Poison and Bone skills. This could be a bit expensive, but if you have the gold to spare, that's a good way of finding such an amulet. And to increase my damage even further, I am looking for more Poison and Bone Skillers, and I find a player who joins who offers 4 of the Poison and Bone Skillers for 2 Ist runes. These come with life, faster run walk, life, and extra gold from monsters. I at some point traded an Ist rune for a Mal, and Pole rune, and somebody gives me another clean Poison Bone Skiller for an rune. So at this point we are still looking at 270% MF, but we have an inventory full of Poison and Bone Skillers, which of course increases our damage by a lot. So at this point I would like to quickly interject and talk about Magic Find. Now, I opened up the Magic Find chart that is easily accessible on the Diablo wiki, and I would just like to show a few core ideas about it. Now, in this chart we have the x-axis, which has total MF. Total MF, of course, is the amount of Magic Find that our character has, and the Necromancer at this point in time has round about 270, so we're right around here. The effective MF is the chances of finding an item. And an item, of course, is either a magic item, a rare item, a set item, and a unique item. Now, how does the game roll this? First of all, if an enemy dies, the game will roll on no drop. No drop, of course, just is, as the name implies, a chance of an enemy not dropping anything. I don't know exactly how high the number is for a no drop, but for a player's 1, it's the highest. For a player's 2, it's the same. For player's 3, it's, I think, 41% lower chance of no drop. Then for player 4, it's the same. For player 5, it's even less. For player 6, it's the same as in player 5. For player 7, it is yet again lower. So first of all, the game, after an enemy dies, will roll on whether an item will drop or not. If an item drops, the game will roll whether it's a unique item, which is based on your Magic Find, and then it's either a yes or a no. If it's a yes, the item will drop as a unique. If it does not drop as a unique, the game will roll against a set item, and it will factor in your MF for that. Afterwards, if it's not a set item, it will roll against rare and then against magic, and if all of these are no's, then it will roll as either an ethereal, as a white item or as a gray item. So why do I explain this? Let us look at this chart, which has the 4 lines. The MF towards magic increases linearly. So for every point of MF that you have, let's say 400 just means you have an effective MF of 400. 600 means you have an effective MF of 600. So every point that you have in MF increases your chance of finding a magic item. For rares, as you can see, it increases relatively high, but it's not linear. I'm not exactly sure what it's called. It's if you have a 1000 MF, it does not even mean you have 400 effective MF. For set items, it's even lower. So for 1000 MF, you will only have a roundabout 330% chance of fighting a set item. And for MF towards uniques, as you can see, once you hit the 200 effective MF, there's not really a lot that you can do, and that's at 1000 MF. So if we look at our current MF for the Necromancer, we are at 270% MF. So that gives us an effective MF of what, maybe 130, 140? And the absolute maximum over at 1000 is 200. So what does that mean for us? Aiming for anything above 400 is usually wasted, as that's already at 160 maybe, and again 200 is round about the maximum that you can possibly achieve. So of course if you can add magic find into your gear without sacrificing kill speed, that's cool. But for our Necromancer, we are looking at 270% magic find, and if I wanted to integrate more MF, let's say I take my weapon and replace it with a 100% or 120% MF weapon, which would be 6 Ist runes. So a very expensive item, and the highest amount of magic find a single item can have, I believe. So if I were to do that, I would, instead of being at 270 MF, let's say 280, I would be at 400 MF. I would sacrifice +3 to my poison and bone skills. I would sacrifice the bone armor as well as my skeleton mastery, but I would have round about 400 MF. That would put me from maybe 130% chance of a unique to 160. So I gain 40 or 30% magic find towards a unique. A unique, of course, is what we're looking for if we talk about Death's Web, Tyrael's Might, and Griffins. And I would sacrifice +3 to skills, +3 to poison and bone skills for 30% MF gain. That is not worth it. So what you're looking for is to find a way to, of course, integrate magic find into your gear. Let's say you can socket a perfect topaz into the Shaco, or a perfect topaz into the Skulders, or maybe even an Istrune into the Trang'ul's shield. But you're not trying to replace the gear that gives you damage at, like, once you're at maybe 200% is a bit low, maybe 250% is what you should be aiming for. Once you have 250% MF, there's not a lot of need to increase your MF further. Of course, MF charms would be nice, but they're not strictly mandatory. So why do I say this? I say this because we are now at a point where kill speed becomes more important, because the more enemies you kill, of course, the higher the chance that an item will drop. If you don't kill an enemy, you can have 1,000,000 MF, but you will never drop any items. So the more enemies you kill, the higher the chance of an item dropping, and the higher the chance for that item to be unique as well. The one thing that I am aiming for with the current item set is to go into player 7 or player 8 games and farm the pits in there, because that reduces the chance of no drop. And if I can do that in an efficient manner with around about 280% MF, then that is the most efficient way of farming. Now, as said before, if there is a simple way of increasing your MF, such as with small charms, that's always worth it. So I trade my remaining runes for some MF charms now. At this point, it doesn't really matter too much, but I figure increasing the MF slightly for the cost of only runes, that's super good, because I don't need the runes. The runes sitting in my stash does absolutely nothing for me. It does not increase my MF the slightest, or my kill speed. So having them just means I have potential additional damage, but potential additional damage never killed an enemy. So I have only one pull rune left at this point, and the guy told me to wait for him, so I did. Identify the saber, which of course is the skewer of Krinids, which is not a good item, so I just drop it again. I trade my pull rune away for another 6% MF charm, and it doesn't really matter if it's 6 or 7%, I just want to get the MF charms and get rid of the runes. Alright, so here we are in a player 8 game. I decide to just quickly show what the character can do. I also found this Grim Wand, which had +2 to Poison Nova, which of course replaces my +3 to Skeleton Mastery base. It also gives +1 to Decrepify, which just means we now have a level 2 Decrepify. That doesn't really do a lot. We also have a Bone Prison now though, so in case I ever feel unsafe, I can also use Bone Prison. We have our Shaco, our Scolders, our Trangul's 3-piece. Oh, also I never said that. The Trangul's gloves, of course, give +2 to curses, 20% faster cast rate, as well as +25% to poison skill damage. We are wearing our Nagels, we have our War Travelers, and a full inventory of Poison and Bone Skillers, as well as our Torch and our Geet's Fortune. Now, I joined this player 8 game, which of course is a Bale run. Oh, one more thing. I also found Naj's Puzzler, which gives teleport charges as well as 1 to all skills, and most importantly, 30% faster cast rate. While I was talking, the people started leaving the game, so I better join the next one so I can show off what this character can do. Now, of course, the following game was full already, so I just joined a different one. All I want to do is show off what this character is capable of. So you go to the outer cloister in a full game, preferably. Again, kill speed is probably the most efficient thing that you can do. You use low resist, you use your Poison Nova, then you want to create an army of skeletons. I always want to have my Clay Golem just to have more safety. I think I can summon 10 in total, yep. So now I just start teleporting. It's a bit more costly, but I want the efficiency. You want to follow the path, and you will arrive at the pits. Now in the pits, there's not a lot that is worth fearing. You just want to use Poison Nova, start blasting them with Corpse Explode if you need to. Oh, I have my MF charms in here. And you just want to keep farming this. You can essentially one-shot everything, or not on players 8, but you can two-shot everything. Big upgrade that you can use, of course, is the Death Web. Death's Web gives the enemies negative 40% negative 40% to negative 50%. Whoops. Negative 40% to negative 50% poison resistance, which simply means your skills will deal a bunch more damage, around about 80% more damage. You can always pick up Archon plates, since they are one of the best bases you can use for many rune words. You don't have to pick up the heraldic shield. And then again, you just use your summons. I'm not looking to kill all the little enemies. I'm just looking to kill the elites. The elites, of course, are I think 3 levels above the area. The area is for level 85s, so the bosses will be level 87, so they're probably 2 levels above. And that just means, again, every item in the game can drop here. They're still not common or anything, it's just that they have a chance to drop here. They don't have a chance of dropping anywhere. Oh, there's an elite there. So, lower resistance. Start blasting them. Use Corpse Explode. And we find a Cutlass. Again, this is of course worthless. It's Cold Steel. I just like picking them up because I never know the names of those items, and I better want to not miss anything than, whoops, got myself into a corner here. That's what you have your teleport staff for. Still, it's not super efficient, but it's very good for a 3-day character. This is my 4th day of playing him. Can always teleport, then take a step back, just so your followers will be there. Followers, of course, include your summons. I like to pick up amulets since they give you a lot of money, which is necessary to... I think I didn't. So I didn't do it in time because I was talking, and I'm not yet very proficient in speaking while... Whoa! Speaking while playing. Okay, so I just die here apparently. So Ghost Glaives could be good, but you would technically only want Ethereal Self-Repair ones, and that marks the end of the guide. If you like this, I am looking forward to seeing you in the next installment of Bitches.